Ah, good morning, or good day, or good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to Love Morning. Welcome to Hug Nation. Welcome to our Love Ambassador Bullpen. Welcome to a gratitude practice. I am John Halcyon Stin, and this is a daily practice, although I have not been here for many days. So I've missed you. I've missed us. So thank you for returning, making it back to this practice. I hope that you continued with your gratitude while I was away. I will tell a little bit about my journeys momentarily and all the gratitude that came from it. But first, I will welcome you with a song, da-dong, dong, da-dong song about gratitude. And if you're here, it will lift your attitude. And if you are near, then you can change your attitude. And if you have a beer, I'd wait a little bit because it's morning. And if it's so, that's cool. And because I know that the words don't come always so clear. Dun, 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 dun. Gratitude. I hope you're here. Gratitude to share with me. Attitude. Happy love morning to you. Hello. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Abigail. Good morning, Gerbot. And good morning, Razorblade. Good morning, Moosecock. Oh, hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Ah, so nice to be back. So nice to see your names and presence, hear your words, feel you as we share gratitude with one another. It is Wednesday. Goodness gracious, I've been gone for a while, but it is very nice to be back. I was at a retreat in Ojai that Lisa was co-leading, and then I spent a day at a recording studio as Lisa was working on her new album project. Good morning, Tracy. Tracy says, "Good morning, roadie." Yes, I was a little bit of a roadie. I was I was not leading this adventure. This was Lisa's adventures that I was able to help with. And at the retreat, I was a helper. And at the recording studio, I was just staying out of the way. But also for Lisa, I'm driving and trying to help carry things and trying to be as much of service as possible. And if you are here, I welcome you to share some gratitude, to oops, didn't mean to do that, to let us know where you're at, what's on your mind, what's in your heart, what are you appreciating? And if you're struggling, you can share that too. And maybe as an exercise, what is some blessing or lesson from the struggle that you're in? Good morning, Robert. I had a really, I'm grateful for a number of things through the last, since I've been with you. There was one moment I went to this retreat as a helper, and there was a number of people there that were very impressive human beings with, accolades and success stories. And I, it's easy for me to fall into the trap of comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. I know that. And even as I know that I am being pulled into this comparison. So, I mean, it's easy to say the words like, well, don't compare yourself but I don't know about you, but I'm susceptible. And so I had these moments as people were sharing aspects of their lives and their businesses, and I had a little bit of a feeling of smallness. Now, in many realms, I am grand and successful, and I know that I have no reason to judge myself. I have no reason to feel like I'm anything but a success. I know that. And yet, I was in this feeling of a little bit of contraction, a little bit of insecurity, a little bit of smallness. And it was so wonderful because there was a gentleman there that we had met years ago at Burning Man, and he's an inspiring, impressive guy. And he shared with me that he met his wife and fell in love at Pink Heart at Burning Man. And so he shared the story of his first burn and this long night that he spent at Pink Heart, falling in love with the woman that he then married and now has a child with. And he pulled me aside midway in the retreat and just let me know how significant my path and who I am has been to him in his path. And it was such a beautiful affirmation for me, and such a beautiful, like, I shouldn't need those external reminders. I know it. It's my faith, this faith in ripples, that you do your thing, you follow your heart, you live in integrity, you focus on direction, not distance. Be a love ambassador every day in little ways, whatever that can mean to you in that way, and just have faith. And yet still, sometimes it's nice to get a sign or a message or a reminder that, yes, years ago, those ripples that you put out there made a positive difference in someone's life. And it still is resonating with them and into the person that they are today. So I'm so grateful for the experience of being contracted, the experience of getting a little sign from the universe that, hey, just so you know, you are being silly with your comparisons. You are creating a suffering model for yourself that is so unnecessary. And it's pulling yourself out of your own worldview and your own philosophy and your own faith. So I'm so glad to be kind of reset into that place of have integrity, be present, align with love. Okay, it's still working. It's still working. It's still working. Good morning, everyone. Nick is grateful that I have entered my art in a show to share with others. Bravo! Hooray for the courage to share your art. Hooray for listening to your inspiration and your muse to create art. That's so fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Nick. That makes me feel good. Gerbat, good morning. Gerbat says, I'm grateful for the opportunity to make a work and play trip to the playa this weekend to help a friend's camp prep their gear and have a little fun. Ooh, like truly to the playa? Like, are you going to get playa dust on you? I guess if you're working on a camp prep their gear, then you're going to get the dusty fingers. So I do not envy the feeling of dust on my hands, but I am so grateful that you are able to have a connection to the playa experience before you get there. There's such a significant, I think, shift in thinking about Burning Man from a week in the desert to a identity. And when it is your identity, then you are thinking about gifting and your camp and ways that you can contribute and be of service all year round. And then when you have an opportunity to actually really help, I think it's just it feels so good. So I'm so happy that you are able to have that experience. And thank you for sharing. Natasha says, why am I always so jealous of your clothes in these broadcasts? Well, I have to confess that this awesome hoodie that, man, I wish I knew where it came from. This was so I have an agreement with First Saturdays that if there is something pink and magnificent that is donated, I can purchase it from First Saturdays and give a donation to First Saturdays and then take it. So this was a donation that I took and then gave money to First Saturdays. Although I got to really think about it, that agreement might change now that we are a nonprofit. I don't know if I can just so flippantly, buy a donation. I have to probably have a paper trail. Good morning, Faith. Good morning, Faith. Faith says, your legacy is a long one, my friend. I've been inspired by you since Cocky Bastard. I told the story about Cocky Bastard while I was at this retreat. I had this thought this weekend. I was thinking about, I don't know, I had a flash about my funeral. And maybe it was related to this comparison and thinking about what success is and ways that I have contributed and ways that I have tried to make the efforts of my life matter, and trying to think about what would be the things that would be mentioned, at my celebration of life. I've even been thinking like, hey, there's a number of projects that are not on my Wikipedia page. So I got to figure out how to get them there. I know to put something on Wikipedia, it has to have like sources. So I'm like, has anybody ever written about Love Mourning or the Gratitude Circles? I don't think so. So I don't think I can technically put it on. And I think my book Protagonist, like if it has an ISBN number, does that mean, can I put it on Wikipedia? And when I say I know I can't edit my own, but could I ask a wiki editor to make those additions? I don't know. But I hope people don't use my Wikipedia page as the content of my celebration of life. Hopefully there are people there that remember me from personal experiences. Natasha says, you have provided many positive ripples in my life decades later. Thank you. Me too with you. Gerbot says, oh yeah, love the dust. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with dust. I love Burning Man, but the dust itself, I feel like I got to wear gloves always. In fact, as I'm packing, I wear gloves. And even then going through my stuff, I always wear gloves, because even if I just like have the dust touch my skin briefly in the weeks leading up to anytime, actually, something happens, and about a week later, I start to get cracking. So it's really important for me to avoid the dust on my hands as much as possible leading up to the burn. So when I'm there, my fingers don't get cracky in advance. It's kind of like you do not want to get a glue gun burn in the week before Burning Man. You want to go there with pristine, full, have your hit points at maximum. Man, I am such a non-gamer. I was trying to think of how do you hit points? Isn't that a Dungeons and Dragon thing? I don't know. I need help. What am I talking about? How do you? And speaking of preparation for the burn, this morning I was actually looking up the Burning Man bootcamp videos that I made a few years ago with Phenomenal, and I was looking into ways to cut those into digestible videos. I feel like it's probably that would be a good source material to make little reels for burners, and to like release a clip, every day for, I don't know how many clips I could make from that leading up to Burning Man. Knowing that not everybody likes to watch, a 40-minute video. And since there's 4 videos in the boot camp, it's an afternoon it's a lot of ingesting. And I know if you just like post that, nobody clicks on a video that's that long, unless your campmates say, you have to watch this before we trust you in our camp. Thank you for sharing your gratitudes. Razorblade says, I am grateful to be keeping it together for this full moon in Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio and I'm feeling it. Is it a full moon? That makes sense, because last night as I was driving back from Lake Piru, the moon was rising and it was like orange and full and really like distinct, like you could really see the craters and the design in it, which I always think of it as a rabbit in the moon because of the band. And Lisa always says she sees a woman singing. It's like, well, look at that. Anybody else have something else they see in the moon that you would share with us, or a gratitude? Would love to hear. Good morning, Painty. Natasha's sharing, I am so grateful that my partner is coming to visit today for our daughter's choir concert tomorrow and to take care of us because we are both currently sick. Oh, what a wonderful jam-packed little gratitude that was. Not only having your partner come and finding gratitude within your sickness, in your illness experience, that you're going to have someone to care for you, but your daughter's concert. That has got to be amazing. Wow, that is. I am giddy with anticipation for your joy of seeing your child sing in a choir. That's got to be something special. Speaking of which, I've Amy has been sharing some videos of Asher's t-ball practices, where he is so much more into it than he was the first practice that I got to witness. So I'm so proud of him and proud of her, and uh, grateful for perseverance and the ability to learn new things, which I'm trying to practice. Good morning, Abigail. Abigail says, I'm grateful for a life chapter that is coming to a close, getting ready to move next month and looking forward to what's next. Wonderful attitude. Wonderful attitude. There was, when I was deciding if I was going to buy this place that I'm living in right now, that I do own now, I was really struggling with pros and cons and should I, shouldn't I? And some of the best advice I got was there's no wrong answer. There's just different adventures. Different, each path will be an adventure filled with lessons. You cannot choose wrong. And I found that so liberating. I try to remember that. Good morning, Joyous. Gerbot sharing that the first habit of the 7 habits of highly effective people is begin with the end in mind. That is something that I could practice better. Part of what, when I say be present, have integrity, align with love, I end up just like doing what feels right in the moment without really having any kind of sense of where I'm headed. So I'm trying to be better at that. And maybe I'll pause. Remind me if I don't. I need to share some of the gratitude about being in the recording studio. Vesper, I know you can't stay because you're waiting for your video therapy session. So pop in and say hello. And grateful for your influence on my life. Vesper, if you're still here, thank you so much for your quick little message of hello and gratitude. I don't know if you just watched the Stay Sparked episode from last week, but it was about staying in contact with people and how meaningful a teeny tiny text message can be. Just letting somebody know you're thinking of them. And Vesper sent one to me over the weekend, and it was just so nice. There's not a deep thank you, because it was just grateful for you. And it was so nice to receive. So thank you, Vesper. And I hope you have a beautiful therapy session. Natasha saying, I will try not to share pornography at your celebration of life. Well, I think at this stage, because I put some of it in my book, the last book, and I have a book that I'd like to publish before I die that includes a lot more about the adult years that you have seen. I'm pretty sure I sent you a draft of it. Yes, I'm pretty sure I did. That I'm okay if people talk about that at my celebration of life, because I feel like everything that I did in the adult industry, I like to say that more than pornography, because people go so quickly to the negative aspects of sexual creative expression, sexual art. In context, I am proud of everything that I did, that we did. I'm proud. Some of the things that we did, and this is maybe, we did experiments like, could you create pornography that was free from all of the exploitation? And we created something where all the participants donated footage of themselves and all the proceeds went to charity. If you want to talk about that at my celebration of life, I would be proud. It was a pink moon last night, Natasha reminds us. That's for sharing that the terminology of the hit points. Thank you. My partner's daughter watched me hurt myself while rock climbing, and she's such a gamer. She said, "Ooh, you got damage." I got like 2 hit points damage. See, I'm still hip. I can still use the lingo. I'm still I don't know. Like I was going to try to use some cool name. And FY, my hair looks a little weird right now because I put some dye in it this morning. I wanted to do like kind of patchy pink. So as my hair bleached, I didn't want to do a uniform repinking. So it's kind of, we'll see how it looks when I rinse it after this broadcast. Joya says, I am feeling grateful for being an emotional being and being able to trust myself and knowing that I'm creating such a peaceful, prosperous life and deserve every bit of it. That felt like an affirmation card or a pull from a deck. That was beautiful. Thanks, Joyous. Abigail sharing, very relevant to the Burning Man theme. When I was a kid, I would always call a crescent moon the Cheshire Cat moon. I still feel that when I see the little tiny smile. Good morning, Juan. So we're getting close to half past, but I want to share a little gratitude for my experience in the recording studio. So this was the second session that Lisa and her bandmates were spending at this recording studio with the producer recording studio person running it is David, who I think, Natasha, I think you know David. And so I'm so in awe over the process of recording an album. And I've seen documentaries of, behind the music and Led Zeppelin in the studio and they rent a house and things like that. And Aerosmith spending all the, and I guess I didn't ever really get it because I'm someone who, it's a big deal for me to do multiple takes of something. If I'm recording audio for some video, I usually do it once, maybe twice, 3 times would be a big deal. And I'm often making clips doing this, saying something once, and then I make it into a clip and upload it. And so but there's something different about the social media video world of the internet where people are just like barely looking at it, you're like scanning, skimming, whereas an album, a musical track, if you do it right, it's something that people listen to over and over and over and over again, and they really dissect and really feel every note. And so when you're listening to something over and over and over again, especially if you're a perfectionist and a creator, the things that aren't perfect start to grate on you. This is what I'm being told by these musician people and by Lisa, who is a perfectionist when it comes to her musical creation, because she has the ability to make something perfect. And so to see the final product that is less than what she knows is possible is very difficult. And I'm speaking for her, but I think that she would agree with that. And so yesterday, I listened to this stand-up bass player and 2 singers, 2 guitar players, well, 3 people and the producer play and record a single song all day. And it's a complicated long song with multiple parts, so they record it in sections. But over and over and over and over and over and over. And let's try it like this, over and over and over and over. And that I didn't hit that chord perfectly. It's over and over and over and over. And it really hit me the significance of that. And it really made me think like, wow, wonder what I could create if I had that kind of commitment and discipline. There's been only a few things in my life that I have practiced over and over and over and over again. I mean, TEDx talk being one. And when I think about the Protagonist book, that is something that I did draft after draft and, re-edited the little clips, the little text areas. Spent a lot of time, and it's something I'm still very proud of. I don't look through it and go, oh, I wish I would have. Oh, I wish I would have. No, I think it's awesome. And it really has made me think about, well, I've been thinking for a while about, I would like to create something that I feel is a masterpiece or that is as good as I can do. And so witnessing the creativity and the perseverance and the drive and the dedication of these musicians was super inspiring to me. And to see the teamwork and the attitude staying positive, honestly, like if I was in the room and I sang and messed up, it would be really hard for me to be like, okay, let's keep going. One more try. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. I would start to feel bad. Like, I'm sorry. And even just knowing that about myself has really kind of had me start to think about areas that I really can practice and grow. So I'm coming back from this trip and from a place with a less of a like concrete idea of what I need to do now, and more of an awareness of places that I really need to do some more work. Yeah. So I am grateful for Lisa and Elisa and David for letting me witness their creative process. Oh, and Elliot? No. And the bass player, which I'm blanking on his name. Good morning, Tom. Yeah, and I'm grateful for this space where it feels like a safe space to just ponder and think about and maybe push ourselves and to grow, but also be compassionate with ourselves. Try not to beat ourselves up as we become aware of the places where we can grow, to feel a little gratitude, like, all right, good for me. I've got a place that I can lean into and spend some time and work on, not as a place of failure, but as an opportunity. That is easier for me to say than to feel, but I will work on it. And I appreciate the support that I feel from you in this space. So thank you. Good morning, Jackie. And good morning, Luann. Luann says, I'm grateful that the crazy roller coaster of life, taking care of family, has finally slowed enough for me to get back home and enjoy the little things. 3 cheers for the little things. I'm actually returning to coffee today after a long break. I was taking a break from coffee to see if it was responsible for the eczema flaking that I was getting. And after 3 or 4 weeks of no coffee, and I thought that was it, this weekend I started flaking again. And I'm like, well, I guess it's not coffee. So guess who immediately, as soon as that conclusion came through, poured himself a cup of coffee? This guy. Well, with that, wherever you are, I encourage you to join me and give yourself a big old hug of gratitude for this body, for this amazing, this biological system upon system filled with microorganisms and just so much miraculous activity happening in every moment. Grateful to be alive in this body, on this planet, surrounded by so many beautiful creatures. I'm hearing the birds sing as I share this. So grateful for these songs and all of us that are singing songs, whatever that might be, whether it's an actual song or the ripples that we put into the world. Grateful for the ripples that we experience from one another, from the songs we experience from one another, and the songs we sing together. So let's take a deep breath in and squeeze one another. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and everyone else here, thanks for being here for our gratitude gathering in this love morning. Love you. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you for welcoming me back so nicely. Good morning, Jason. What a treat to have you as a part of this day. Good to be back. I will plan to be at Gratitude Circle at noon today. If anyone is around for Zoom, would love to see your faces. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Love you.